Hey, what's up, guys? We're going to talk a little bit about why you're doing what you're doing. This is going to be a continuing theme because this is a journey that I'm going through. So I'm just walking through this day by day, moment by moment, figuring out myself and listening to experts, reading about this, experiencing it. And I know a lot of people struggle with this, including myself. So it's going to be an ongoing topic that's going to have it's going to be a great journey. It's going to be great value for all of us. A lot of people have done some really, really amazing things because there's been some traumatic things that have happened in their life that has now motivated them through emotion to take action. Remember, I heard this one story about a guy where his mother got cancer. And it was just devastating, and he couldn't understand why. The doctors didn't have an answer for him. And so he started doing the research on his own, and he ended up becoming a doctor and an expert in that particular cancer that she had, because he was so distraught from what was happening to his mother, who he loved dearly and was very attached to and spent a lot of time with. And so he's highly motivated to be able to keep her in his life longer, to be able to relieve her suffering. And so he went into a several year journey of just diving into the deep science and getting extremely educated and going through the whole educational process to become a doctor. Whereas he had no notion of ever doing that before, no attraction to doing that in the past. Now, for me, I really like nutrition and medicine, understanding the body, the biochemistry, the biology, the physics, the biomechanics, the neurochemistry, so many things. I find it very, very fascinating. So I don't need to have any external traumatic motivation that where I'm trying to solve a problem necessarily to study these things. And you may have something in your life where just you're naturally gravitating, you're very curious about it, and as you dive deeper into it, you become more obsessed with it, and then maybe you spend enough time and enough effort where you become an expert in it, and then maybe you monetize that, or maybe use that to help yourself or help others, or whatever you do with that new skill set. So sometimes it's just simply that it's a natural curiosity for a particular subject that makes it so you learn more about it. Other times it could be motivated by some kind of traumatic situation where you're trying to solve a problem that really means a lot to you. So these are some of the levers and the leverage points that you can use. And I call it tethering things. Like if you tether something to something that's very dear to you, and if you have several things that are very dear to you where the tether can attach to all of these different things, then those times where you don't feel that motivated because you're tired in the morning, or you've had a long day and you don't want to get that second workout in after a long work day, but you have such a higher, superior goal, you want to become an elite athlete, or you want to become a superior example physically for people. Maybe you have loved ones that are in really, really bad shape and their health is being compromised. And so you want to set an example of what could be. For me, I'd like to live to 90 and be healthy and strong, have my cognitive ability still sharp, and be a really good example for the world of what can be achieved, both longevity-wise and also health-wise. A lot of people could potentially live to 90, but what's the quality of life? Are they still able to go out for a nice jog, a hike in the mountains, still lift weights at the gym, still do jujitsu, still surf? I'd like to be able to do these things all the way until 90. And it is possible. There has been examples of people that have been able to do amazing things all the way to that age, but it's very, very rare because people don't really care that much about it, or they don't think it's possible. They have limiting belief systems. That's another problem. If you don't believe that it's possible, then it's a lot less likely that you're going to be able to get to that point you're trying to get to. Perfect example of that, probably many of you have heard the story of the 4-minute mile. No one could break the 4-minute mile. People were at 4:13 and 4:10 and 4:08. And eventually, I think his name was Robert Bannister or something like that. He broke the 4-minute mile, and then many people that same year, within a very, very short period of time, broke the 4-minute mile. I think this is the perfect story and the ultimate reality truth about why the mind is so powerful. Because if you think you can't do it, then it makes it so that that extra push, that extra bit of energy is not tapped into to be able to get there. So at one point there wasn't a billionaire. Most likely when someone passed that billionaire threshold, everyone thought, my gosh, is it possible? Many more people got there, and now there's so many of them. It's still very, very difficult to achieve, but there's guys that are 100 billion plus, let alone 1 billion, right? So there's all these different things where when you listen to masters in certain fields, experts in certain areas, they shine a light, they like open a window into what's possible. What is the most, the most recent scientific breakthroughs? Oh my gosh, I can't believe, they've discovered the microbiome, and now they understand that, you need to feed the microbiome as well as your own body. And before, people didn't even know anything about that. So now you're tailoring your diet to take in consideration the microbiome. So now you're serving yourself even better because now you have new knowledge. This is happening in the world of exercise and nutrition and, the growth mindset, in physics and chemistry and so many different things. So just spend some time just becoming curious and studying. Be interested in knowledge and growing. Your brain will reward you for learning new things, for learning new skills, for growing and becoming better. You'll become more, you'll have higher self-esteem, you'll have higher confidence because you're more competent in something that you value. When you become more competent in something that you value, you feel better about yourself because you did the hard work that was needed to achieve the thing that you really wanted, and now you see you have the skill set that's competent in this particular field. That makes you feel better. Your brain will bathe you in a neurochemical cocktail that makes you feel better.